and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with fans who've been linked with January transfer move to Arsenal. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta speaking in his press conference yesterday and asked a lot of questions about strikers, transfers. And in typical Mikel Arteta style, which he does really, really well, he kind of really swerved them, spoke about the difficulty in the market, he's going to try and get deals done if they can see that player. But also hinted that, if that player's not available, they won't get anybody. I mean, listen, I hope that's not the case. But really not giving anything away in his press conference. So we know that Arsenal are continuing to look for certain positions, but it's whether they're going to be able to get it done this January. First of all, Toney watch, as we do every single day. Something that I saw yesterday from the Daily Mail newspaper, where they were saying that Toney hasn't entered into any contract talks yet with Brentford. Now, it's quite interesting because his contract is up. Not the end of this season, but the end of the following season. And you think to yourself, all right, well, they've still got a way to go. But for a player of his caliber, the club would be looking to extend his contract beyond that as long as they possibly could. Because basically at the end of the season, he's only going to have 1 year left on his contract and the value of the player really starts to go down. So they haven't entered into any contract talks yet, which would suggest, as things stand, that the player wants to leave. However, whether that will happen this January, as we've been talking about quite a lot, it still seems unlikely, but Toney gets a mention once again today. What about Eddie Nketiah? Eddie Nketiah wanted by Crystal Palace. They said to be really, really interested in signing him. They've previously been interested in signing Eddie Nketiah, but Arsenal have not wanted to sell him. Should that be the stance of Arsenal right now? That's the question I want to put that out there to you guys, because as things stand, we're still being told that Arsenal don't really want to sell Eddie Nketiah. But should that be the case? Should Arsenal be looking to say, go out there and say, well, all right, you want Eddie Nketiah, we want 35 to 40 million, and then using that towards trying to get maybe an Toney. That's if Toney's available. But I'd love to hear from you guys on it. Or do you persist through with Eddie until the end of the season at the very least? So we'd really like to hear from you guys on this one. Now, a player that's been linked with Arsenal heavily today is Fikayo Tiimori of AC Milan. Now, you remember him from his days at Chelsea. He came through the ranks at Chelsea as a centre-back. I always thought he was all right at Chelsea. He was okay, but in typical Chelsea fashion, they moved him on. He went over to AC Milan, where he's done really, really well. Won the league with AC Milan. Has been a regular in the Champions League, unlike what it would have been if he stayed at Chelsea, and is really, really flourishing over there in Italy. There's a lot of people who say that he should be starting in that England side. He doesn't even always get selected, but he's pushing for a place in the Euros this season, and he's been heavily linked today with various different outlets with a move to Arsenal. Arsenal said to be interested in him. It's no secret that Arsenal are looking for defenders. Tiimori's still only 26 and valued at around about £40 million, and I personally think Milan would want even more money for that. They know the market at the moment. It's a rumour that's out there at the moment. I see it so unlikely at the moment. AC Milan, they're still in halfway through the season. Why would they want to sell a player like Tiimori? If any sort of move like this is to happen, we're talking about a summer move, and then he's not going to be cheap. He's still got a long way to go in his contract until 2027. So I see it as unlikely, but a player being heavily linked with a move today, Tiimori, formerly of Chelsea. The Jorrel Hato, or Hato, whichever you pronounce it, those rumours persist again today. The 17-year-old Ajax player has been interested in Arsenal all transfer window. There were some quotes that emerged from him things that he said when Kieran Tierney actually moved to Arsenal, where he was sort of saying, great move for Kieran Tierney. It was a shame that he got injured in his first game. But you know what? It's a dream move, and I'd like to make a dream move like that one day myself. But I know I've still got to learn, etc. Well, that dream move could be nearer than he thinks, because Arsenal, very, very interested in him. They're not the only club, though, that are interested in Hato at the moment. Real Madrid said to be very interested in him as well. If you look at Madrid, they've got a lot of aging centre-backs. I'm sure they're going to be looking to, bring in someone to, say, for instance, replace David Alaba. And this guy, Hato, fits the bill. Still only 20 and is being looked upon as a real top talent at the moment. So we'll face competition if we move for him. That could be another reason why Arsenal may try and see if they could get a deal done this January transfer window. But he's still very young. Would he be the answer at 17 years old? I mean, that is very young to then be thrown into the Premier League. I'm not sure about this one, but the rumours persist. One player who's definitely not going to be coming to Arsenal this January is Kieran Tierney. He made it very, very clear in an interview that he's not looking to return back and cut his loan short. I mean, that was one of the rumours flowing around at the start of this week, that Arsenal may look to bring Kieran Tierney back to the Emirates. Remember, he's at Real Sociedad on loan. He's had a big injury there, but he is back playing right now. And we know that we've got a big problem at the moment at left back. But Kieran Tierney saying, no, I'm happy at Real Sociedad. I want to finish the season here at least. And then who knows what happens after that. But no early return for Kieran Tierney to Arsenal. So I think we can rule that one out. Tierney is going to be staying put. And another player that is interesting Arsenal a lot, and again, rumours persist about this one. I think the rumour was first dropped by a publication called Team Talk, who said exclusively that Arsenal have approached Everton regarding Onana. Spoke about it a few days ago. The rumours are still persisting out there today. They're saying that Arsenal have made an approach to sign him. Everton, however, will demand a very, very high fee if they decide to sell him. They're not keen on selling him. Remember, they only bought him back in 2022, and when they did buy him, he cost £33 million. So he was an expensive signing for them in the first place. For them to sell him, they're going to want some big bucks. There's been rumours of 60 million. Definitely Arsenal not going to be sorting that out in this January transfer window. However, it's very interesting that Arsenal are looking at Onana, maybe as a long-term replacement for Thomas Partey in the summer. And I do think Everton will end up selling him at some, because, Everton, as we know, well-documented financial problems. And then, of course, they got that 10-point deduction, and they're in relegation trouble at the moment. That's another reason why, they'd be very reluctant to sell him right now, because they want to see that they can stay in the league. And right now, they're in deep, deep trouble, relegation trouble. So they'll be looking to try and hang on to players like Onana to stay in the league, and then maybe consider any moves for him in the summer. So those are the rumours today. Don't forget the big game taking place tomorrow. It's Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium. We got some great content around it. Previews, reviews, super fan debate is off the scale. You got to check that out right now, right? So go and check out all of those videos here on AFTV. And of course, we're going to be at the game speaking to fans before and after the game. And it's a very important game for Arsenal. Not just the FA Cup, which we all love, but also a chance to get back on track with the way we've been going recently. So those are the rumours for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back tomorrow.